Time for another episode of All Right Bet. All right, everybody. Hey, it's time for part 2 of this week's episode of All Right Bet. We got a special guest picker in the house, like always. Going to be a lot of fun. Hey, but real quick, man, another quick shout out to the officially chosen beer of the DWMOD podcast. That's Old English 800, guys.
It's that smooth mellow taste that gets you. Smooth mellow taste that gets you. It's the power. Stronger but smooth. It's the power. Old English 800.
Get yourself some Old English 800. Enjoy the games this weekend. Don't play. Now, don't play. All right, man. Thanks for following us over to YouTube here for part 2, as I just said. And let's break down last week, how the picks went last week. Finally, we got over on the guest picker. We did not lose to the guest picker this week. Now, Andy went 3-3, was -2 against the spread. Our guest picker, Brett Gunnell, went 4-2, -2 against the spread. And we finally got him. I went 5-1, -2 against the spread. And like we said in part 1 there, listening, guys, we handed out a bunch of winners last week. Definitely made some money on this last week. It was a lot of fun. Hey, right now, let's get to bringing in our special guest, Acquah Dansoh. I'm going to bring him into the show right now. Hey, Acquah, how you doing, buddy?
Going on, Big Mike? What's going on, everybody? How we feeling?
Good to see you, man.
Gotta have on my Merino throwback. Had to do it. Had to do it.
Oh, man, my man, I know you are enjoying this run with the Dolphins right now. Born in D.C., right, but raised in Miami. So I'm a diehard Miami fan, right?
Die hard. This has been a historic run for us. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, Mike, because if you're a Miami fan, then you know how this goes. We're either inconsistently good or inconsistently bad. So that's the only thing that's consistent, is that one season we'll go 1-15, and the next season we go 15-1. You know, I mean, it's just been a lot. Right. It's a lot for us.
You know, you're talking to a Lions fan, so I know all about disappointments and drinking the Kool-Aid every year. But this year we're looking all right. I do like that.
I like your coach. I've liked Dan since he was our tight end coach. I think that was a solid pickup for you all. Brings a lot of fight. He's definitely going to bring a turnaround to you guys. And look at you guys. You guys are doing all right.
Yeah, we're looking all right, man. We dumped that one game at home to the Seahawks, but I think he learned from that a lot of just being too aggressive, going for it on fourth down all the time. Hey, take a couple of field goals there. Don't go for it on your own 40-yard line with 10 minutes left in the game when you're already up 7. I mean, you just don't do that. But I think he learned from that because he looked real consistent against Atlanta, man. You know, steady, kept putting the points down, take the points, trust the defense. Anyway, he looked real good. But real quick, though, man, I got to ask you some questions about Miami. Now, you're a big Hurricanes fan too, right?
I am a Hurricanes fan. Fun fact, I was conceived at the U. Both my parents went to the U. That is why I am a diehard Hurricane fan.
Okay, man. All right. Well, hey, they got a big game next week. I mean, they both got to win this week. I think they're off this week, but North Carolina is off. But next week, Miami, North Carolina, that's going to be a big game there. I'm sure you'll be ready for that one, huh?
We'll be ready for it. I mean, North Carolina is just kind of the little brother that was always there in the ACC, and they've just steadily built up their program to become this powerhouse that is North Carolina now. So they're definitely not the trap game they used to be, which is kind of like, if you're a Miami fan like me, it's like, okay, bring it. Because we can't lose to North Carolina, just like we can't lose to Duke. We certainly can't lose to Florida State, who is looking like a monster. They are the boogeyman right now in the ACC.
Yeah.
Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State looks pretty good, and they keep squeaking out close ones where they don't look good, and that is the sign of a good team. You know what I mean? It is. You come back and win those games all the damn time. Duke ain't no slouch either. We're going to see what they look like against Notre Dame this weekend.
Listen, Notre Dame, what a heartbreaker that was. Man.
Yeah, that's on the coach, man. I mean both coaches screwed that up. I mean, Ryan Day goes for it on 4th and 1, doesn't get it. Doesn't get it. Notre Dame gets the ball back. All they got to do is run the clock out, 40-second play clock, and on 2nd down, you're throwing a screen pass that goes incomplete. And that's 40 seconds off the clock right there. And they win on a last second. They got no timeouts. And they win on a last second touchdown. So that's coaching, man. You got to run 40 seconds, run 40 seconds, run 40 seconds, punt.
Did you catch the whole 10 men on the field thing? I was watching the game. I didn't notice it. But
Didn't
I
even
mean, I
notice
was
it.
so locked in. I was like, wait, really? They only had 10 guys on the field for that? And then
Yeah.
they ran to the side where they were down.
Yeah. The only thing I noticed on that, just being a defensive guy, like I was watching when they replayed it, and right when they were about to go live with the run, I was looking at the left side of the line. I'm like, this is a weird shift for goal line,
Right?
man. But they were missing a guy.
They were
So
missing
that's
a
what
guy.
it was. You know what I mean?
Absolutely missing the guy. That was the
It was
game,
terrible.
though.
They punched it right in, though, man. Yeah, it was a good game, though. But we are going to get to breaking that one down later for sure. So we got 6 games on the docket this week.
Okay.
We run through them every week. You are in a good spot because week 1 and week 2, the guest picker have beat us both. Last week, finally, we got the guest picker. We picked more right than Brett Cannell did. So now you're off the hook.
Down too. He's a good dude. I'm gonna have to shoot him a message on that one.
No pressure now. Now you can just relax and make your picks. But before that, I gotta ask you a few questions about some stuff you had going on now. First of all, I was looking up some things that I was unaware that you were in, this Bite Size Halloween show. I didn't even know that you were in that thing, man. And the Psycho Storm Chasers. Now, bro, Psycho Storm Chasers, if you are a horror fan and you like thrillers and stuff, this is a great one. The storyline in this thing is fantastic, man. So this guy's a serial killer. This guy is a serial killer, and he uses natural disasters to cover his tracks. That's brilliant. I've never heard of anything like that. That's creative, man. That's creative.
Brilliant. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this because I haven't signed an NDA and I don't know. We're still on strike, so I don't know. But Lifetime did like it. They loved it. And there should be a Psycho Storm Chaser 2.
Yes.
In the maze.
Yes.
I will be returning, as far as I know, because my character doesn't die.
All right. Well, hey, and no spoilers here, but I'm telling you, the Psycho Storm Chaser is out front chasing this hurricane, and he meets his match in the stay-at-home nurse. Now he's not up for all that. So
Tara did a great job. I absolutely loved working on that project. That was a blast to do. And funny enough, we shot that scene in Burbank at a comic book store, the bridge scene.
Oh, yeah?
At a comic book store behind it. And they had the water rig up. They had the fans. Everything was going. Debris is getting blown in my face. All that shit's real, and it's happening. And I'm just like, I can't wait to see the cut of this.
It's great. It's great.
Turned out phenomenal.
Yeah, a creative storyline, man. It's one of the ones, like, it's just fun. Just put it on and have fun.
It's just a fun movie to watch.
Yeah,
listen,
it's just fun.
You want just a fun, dumb, turn your brain off horror flick to watch. That's like not going to keep you up at night, but definitely entertaining. Watch it. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's great, man. It's fantastic, man. I was happy to see that thing, man. I got to ask you one more question, a little bit about your background here. How does a kid from Miami wind up at the Johnny Carson School for Theater in the middle of Lincoln, Nebraska?
Man, listen, go Big Red. I am a Husker through and through. Believe it or not, they have a phenomenal, I don't know, it's been so long since I graduated. We're getting old, Mike. We're getting old. But at the time when I was there, they had a phenomenal acting program. I got recruited out of what's called ERTA, the University Residential Theater Association. It's this whole big thing where, like, let's say 60% of the graduate schools in America and then like 15 to 20% of the residential theaters hold these massive auditions in 3 cities. So New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. It's basically the best way to go see as many schools as you possibly can without having to go to the usual recruitment trip of going to like 5 different schools. Instead, you can see 60 to 70 from UCLA, Nebraska, NYU, Yale.
All right.
Georgia's there. Like, everybody's there. And so I auditioned for all the schools all at once. And they literally, after you audition, they go, okay, we'll take this person, we'll take that person. It's honestly the most
great program
thing. Like, honestly, your first round, you have to audition in front of 2 chairs and a theatrical agent. So you have to audition just to audition, right? And the pressure is insane because you pay. I flew into Chicago my senior year. I'm staying at this hotel. I was staying at like the Hilton or whatever, where the conference was happening. And so I did the audition. I'll never forget, the stage manager walks in the room. All right. Now picture this, Mike. You're in a room with about 60 other actors. Yeah. Stage manager walks in. It's a very solemn moment. And she goes, I'm about to call your names. When I call your name, I'm going to hand you an envelope. Your envelope is going to say whether or not you get to go on to the next round to audition for the actual schools and theaters. So this isn't a guarantee. She says, please don't celebrate. When I call your name, just take your thing, walk outside.
Right.
you could hear a pin drop in the room. I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and she's calling names, and people are going up and they're opening their letter, and I'm just seeing person after person start to cry. And the letters clearly state, sorry, you're not talented enough to audition for the universities and the schools. Try again next year. I had met other actors there. This was their 4th time trying to get in so they can audition. It's not a guarantee that you get to do this thing.
Yeah, right.
So they call my name. I'm sweating bullets. I go up, I grab it, I open my letter, and I just let out a yes. And then I look around and I realize that as I had screamed yes, because I got it passed on and I get to audition in front of everyone else.
Yeah.
I see all of the people crying. And I'm like, oh shit, that's bad. That's very bad. That was day 1. Day 2. What's that? You ever see that movie, I think it's The Wrath of Khan of Star Trek, where Captain Kirk's in the middle of the tribunal and it's just this one light and you know the judges are there.
Yeah,
that's the setup for your actual audition when you go into the room. You go into the theater for day 2, and it's literally this giant proscenium theater, and all the schools are there. Again, UCLA, Yale, Nebraska, Georgia, a couple of big theaters. They're all there, but there's this dark room and it's this one spotlight, and you go in and you have 2 minutes to perform. You say your name, you do your pieces, you do your song, you're out. That's day 2. After that, it's a gauntlet. After that, day 3, you get the callback list of all the schools that are interested in you, and you have to figure out what schools you want to go meet and talk with as they pitch themselves to you. So I'm meeting with I met with UCLA, I met with University of Ohio, I met with Nebraska, I met with Louisville, I met with some other schools. And it was all like this quick speed round of they're giving you packets, they're recruiting you, they're telling you what they can offer. And it was such a rush. And like the coolest thing about Nebraska was I walked in, I'll never forget, Virginia and Harris were the 2 professors. They said, you want some pizza? Like that was the first time I had walked into the room and someone offered me food. Everyone else was like, cool. I remember Ohio University, they flipped the bed up against the wall and had the lampshade light off. So they made this makeshift spotlight and they're like, sweet, do your audition again. I was like, what?
Nah.
They're like, yeah, no, they're like, do the audition again. And I was like, okay, did the audition. They gave me notes. It was treated almost like a producer session. They gave me notes again, and then they made their offer. They're like, so this is what we have to offer. But every other school was like that. Even UCLA, when I went up with UCLA, they were cool. They sat us down in the circle, and they're like, all right, so you guys have already done your audition. This time, just talk your audition. Don't perform it. Just talk. Mel wanted to see you. Dude, wildest thing.
Weird.
Was like, hey, here's a slice of pizza.
It's some pizza. Well, that's the Johnny Carson school. I didn't even know he was from Nebraska, but that's Johnny Carson. He just wanted to see what's the deal with this guy, right? That's all he wanted.
That is indicative of who they are. They flew me out too. Like it was a proper recruitment trip. Nebraska flew me out. They put me up. I got a full ride plus stipend. I mean, they really rolled out the red carpets. I'll tell you some funnier stories off this because I can't repeat them.
Right. Yeah, well, we get into something. I want to hear some of those.
That's how a kid from Miami ends up in Nebraska. Out of all the schools, Nebraska rolled out the red carpet. They made me feel comfortable. It wasn't weird. They had the money right. I was like, yeah, I'm in.
Well, don't feel bad about celebrating either, because everybody else was handed the same letter that said don't have a reaction, and those other actors cried and shit. So, I mean, they got the same letter. They couldn't follow directions neither. So
it was so gut-wrenching to watch because, again, you're paying all this money to do this thing, and it's not guaranteed that you get to audition, which is wild to me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You tell me I got to pay $600 and I may not get to audition for the schools. Then what do you might as well just go audition for the schools directly. And then that's even more of a pain in the ass because now you're flying to UCLA, wherever you are, and hoping to schedule an audition time and hoping that they're willing to see you.
And you don't get that sweet backdrop of a flipped up mattress with odd lighting either. I mean,
I thought they were going to kill me. You imagine you walk into a room.
Yeah, right. You're going to get whacked.
Flipped up. I thought I was going to die. I was like,
well, it prepared you for Psycho Storm Chasers. I know that, my man. Well, let's get into some college football, man. I know you're a big sports guy just like me. Let's get into this first game of the weekend. This, I think, is going to be a fantastic game. We got South Carolina at Tennessee. Tennessee's laying 13 points, and the over-under in this thing is 63. What do you think about this one, man?
I don't think it's going to be a repeat of last year, which was like insanity because the final score was like 62-18. Spencer Rattler pulled that big-ass upset. Right now, I know he's got the hot hand, so everyone's like kind of leaning on them. I think after what happened with Florida for Tennessee, I think they right the ship. They're at home. I would definitely take the under on this one, and I think Tennessee's going to get the win.
Yeah, you think they're gonna cover? That's the thing here now. This is all right bet. We got to make bets on the show now. It's 13 points, bro. Right. That's
I
a lot
don't
of
like the
points, man.
quarterback that much. I don't, but I
Yeah,
do like the
Milton.
run game. I say they cover.
You think they're going to cover? All right. Well,
I
hey,
think they're going to
listen,
cover.
I'm going to tell you the Gamecocks are 2-2. And they've only got 2 losses, right? They lost to Georgia, and they were in that game in Athens the whole way, playing tough, man. And they lost to North Carolina, we talked about a minute ago, having a good year. They're ranked number 15. The Vols got the 1 loss. They got beat down in the swamp by the Gators, which Andy predicted would happen right on this very show, and it happened just like he said. But listen, the Gamecocks offense, 420 yards a game, 35 points a game. The Vols offense, 463 yards a game, 38 points a game. This thing's got shootout written all over it. This thing's got shootout written all over it. Milton should have an advantage. South Carolina's giving up like 320 yards a game passing. You know, their secondary not that great. Milton should have the advantage, but I mean, Rattler's no slouch, right? You just said it. Last year, put up 60 on him. Last week, he's like 265 in the score. Almost beats the Dogs in Athens. Rattler is no slouch at all, man. Now, the Vols may have played nobody and just got that one beatdown, right? But the Cocks have played some competition, and they've lost, but they've played some competition here. They're going to have to stop the run. The Vols are going to want to stop the run, and the Gamecocks defense only giving up 115 yards a game on the ground. Not the greatest, not the worst. Right. I think it's going to come down to that, but it just comes down to who do you like better? Like you said, who do you like better? You like Rattler or do you like Milton? And for me,
I like Rattler, truthfully, but I mean, you and I both played the game. We know how this goes. When things get personal, to quote Coach Prime, it's personal. It's got to be personal.
It's going to be a little personal for him. It is.
It better be, because last year you only lost 2 games, right?
Yeah.
You lost to, I think, was it Alabama? And I think the other one definitely was South Carolina. At South Carolina.
Yeah.
Now they're coming to your house. Ain't no way Tennessee, that team that I watched who lost to Florida, who has some pride, who has some swagger with them, ain't no way they're going to let that just roll in and let Spencer Rattler throw 6 TDs. I'm
going to tell you, I don't think it matters who you like better because it's 13 points. That's too many damn points. Give me the Gamecocks and the 13 points, and I'm taking the over. This is going to be a shootout all day and all night long, man. Oh,
I think this is the game that I think Rattler's due for a bad game, and this is the one.
I just don't see Tennessee having that kind of defense, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Andy's going to be along here in a minute. We'll double back and get what he thinks on the game. He lays out a lot of great nuggets. If you listen to the show, man, he's always laying out stuff like this guy is this against the over and under when it's dark out at night and it's raining, and like when's it not dark out at night? But, you know, he lays out some great stuff, and he's right a lot. But he'll be along in a minute here. So let's just jump to the next game. Utah +3 at Oregon State. The over under 44.5. What do you think on Friday Night Lights, man? This one's Friday night.
Friday Night Lights. I like Utah's D. I like everything they're doing. They will punch you in the mouth. I take the over, and I say they cover.
Yep. Okay. Right. You're going to take the over in this one, too, though. Are you going to go over?
I think they get in there, and they just lay the wood.
Now, you think that Utah is going to – you're taking the points.
Taking points.
You're taking the points. I can't blame you on that. Utah, listen, you said it. Utah's defense is everything. I mean, they're undefeated, and they've played ranked teams multiple times this year, and they almost shut out UCLA last week. UCLA gets the late score. They almost had a shutout against them. They don't even have their quarterback, but I think this week is going to be the rising of the Utah offense. I think Cam Rising is coming back. He dressed for the UCLA game, but then he went off before they came back out, and he came out in street clothes and didn't play. I think he's ready to go. It's been since last year's Rose Bowl. He's had the ACL. I think they're waiting to roll him out in this one. He's got to play in this one. They need this one. If he's coming back this year, it's got to be now. And I think that they are going to bring him back right now. Their D is one of the best in the country. Every week I tell Andy on the show, and he agreed. They got one of the best defenses in the country, without a doubt. But I think the unsung stat here is not the offense for Oregon State or the defense for Utah. It's the Beavs defense against the run, man. They're only giving up 70 yards a game on the ground.
Wow.
They're only giving up 70 yards a game on the ground. Now, they've ran into some air shows, but still, man, that's something. And know Utah needs to run the ball to win this game. That's their identity, man. Run the ball, run the clock, punch you in the mouth, get you to punt. So that Beavs defense is going to come into play big time, man. And I think this is going to be a real close game. And in a close game, it comes down to 2 things, man. Number one, a team that wins close games, and Utah's done that 4 weeks in a row. That's what they do.
That's what they do. For even last season, this is what they do. They are built to win close games.
They are built to win a close game. Yep.
You don't want a close game against Utah because you
don't. You don't. And Washington State got out on Oregon State last week big. Oregon State mounted a comeback, but Oregon State made a little comeback. But you do not want to get behind to this team. That's what they're going to go do. And number two, coaching. Whittingham's one of the best coaches in the country. He's one of the best coaches in the country. Give me the Utah. Give me the 3 points, and absolutely give me the under a 44.5 this week because it's going to be all defense, I think. Now, here I'm just getting –
it's going to be a defensive game.
All defense. Utah's going to it's going to be defense, man. This is under 44.5. I got it in my ear here. Andy St. Clair is in the house. We're going to bring him in right now.
There we go. What up, Andy?
There he is. What's up, man? How you doing?
How are you guys? How are you?
Good.
We're talking Oregon State, Utah?
We sure are, brother. You're up, man. What do you think?
Buddy, here's the thing. Kyle Whittingham, great coach. Oregon State, you know I love them.
You do.
Tough loss on the road. For the what we were calling the two-pack championship.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Them in Washington State. Give me the under all day. The under could be 35. I'm taking the under. I think it's going to be low scoring. Right? Low scoring. And I'm taking the home team. Who's favorite here? Oregon State, right?
Oregon State laying 3.
Come on. Oregon State. I'm taking Oregon State. I'm not giving up now. That quarterback, what's his name? Rising. He's going to – if he's going to play, he's going to be rusty. Last time he played, he got his legs snapped off against Penn State in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, he did.
If they play the other quarterback, no thank you. It's going to be a low-scoring, run the ball. Oregon State's going to just – pound the ball all over the place. I like the Beavs. I like the under.
Yeah. I was just saying before I brought you in that the unsung stat in this game no one's talking about, I think, is the Oregon State defense against the run. They're only giving up 70 yards a game. They're only giving up 70 a game, and Utah's got to live there to win this game. So it's one of them's got to give.
Well, regardless, Oregon State's going to run. Utah's going to run. It's just the clock's going to run.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is. They're going to run it, and I'm with you on the under 100%. Let's double back really quick. We did South Carolina, Tennessee. I know you got some thoughts on this. Tennessee laying 13, the over and under 63.
You know, I hate Joe Milton. I just don't think he's the right quarterback for Heupel.
Yeah, you do.
I just think Joe Milton's not the right quarterback. I think Joe Milton is like a fine quarterback. He's just not the right one, though, for Heupel. Heupel needs just like Hooker was a great quarterback, right? Because Hooker ran a little bit and makes good decisions. Like Milton just doesn't. He just wants to go back there and show you can throw the ball 80 yards. Like it's not great. Heupel's not great for Heupel. What was the spread? 13, right?
Yeah, they're laying 13, man.
That's a home favorite. It's so hard for me to take Tennessee, but I don't trust South Carolina. That's my main issue is what's the quarterback's name that I don't trust?
Rattler. Talk to him.
Rattler.
Talk to him, Andy. Talk to him.
He's not my guy. Rattler is not my guy. Look, I mean, I hate this game. This game, I won't even watch it. I won't even make a television appearance. I like Heupel. It's like, Heupel. I think Tennessee's going to be like 7-5, 8-4. I just don't think one of the losses is coming here. So I guess I'm going to take Tennessee. I hate myself for taking Tennessee.
That's a lot of points. That's not like you.
I don't like it. I don't like a home dog. But this is how much I hate South Carolina, man. Like, look at South Carolina has played, right?
We just went over that. They were in a game against Georgia, a real good one too. I mean, they were up in that game in the second half.
Georgia's also not, Alabama and Georgia.
Number one team in the country, and they lost to North Carolina. So those are only 2 losses. They're
right,
playing
but
some
then
good football.
They played Furman. And they beat the tar out of them. Then they barely beat Mississippi State at home by 7.
That's not a good win.
Don't love that. Don't love that for them.
It's not a good win.
I guess I'm just changing up. My college game has been bad, so I'm taking Tennessee, and I'm gonna take the over.
You're taking the over? Yeah,
I think the over is the way to go.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm not going to disagree with you there. But, Acquah, you should know Andy is real salty at Heupel for those Missouri years. I'm going to tell you that right now. So.
Yeah, last year, I thought Missouri made a mistake and should have hired Heupel. Now I'm like, I don't know. Maybe Heupel's not a great choice.
Yeah, well,
I think Heupel needs a quarterback for his system, right? I mean, all coaches do, but
yeah,
Heupel's very specific to me. He needs a guy, and I don't think Joe Milton's the guy.
No, I don't think so either. He's one of these guys with big arm talent and a good upside that hasn't proved anything yet. I'm with you on that. You know where I land on that. Don't talk to me about potential. Talk to me about what you've done with it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I haven't seen a lot of that, but tough to be competitive in the SEC, man. There's so many big dogs. If you're even in the hunt and in the conversation, I think you're doing all right. And they're a lot better than they used to be. There's no
For
doubt
sure.
about that. All right, let's jump into the next one, guys. We got LSU laying 3 at Ole Miss, over under 65.5. Acquah, you take off on this one, man.
Oof. You know, I don't trust LSU at all. I just don't. I don't love this matchup at all.
No.
Because I want to take the over on this. I feel like LSU could turn it on. I don't trust them though, so I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah.
Truthfully, this is just one of those games for me. I'm just like, you saw me, I was confident on everything else, and then when it came to this, I was like,
yeah, you don't know what you're getting in this game with either one of these teams. That's absolutely the truth. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, what are you going to take it? You taking LSU to lay the points? Do you think they can't even? You're not going to cover? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I hate it. I'll take them to lay the points.
You just back yourself in the corner now.
I don't love it. I don't. I don't love it.
No, it's not great. Andy, what do you got on this one, man?
Only 3 undefeated teams in the SEC. Can you name them?
Georgia,
Missouri, Kentucky.
Missouri.
Let's go. Missouri, baby. Missouri goes to Vandy this week. If they survive, LSU comes to Missouri in a night game next week.
Oh, you've been talking about
LSU at night is going to be a tough one. Missouri is going to be the trap is being laid right now for LSU, right? LSU is focusing on Ole Miss, right? So
yeah,
that's me next week when I'm taking Missouri plus 7.5 when they're a home dog. Just remember I said it here.
Yeah, you've been saying it for weeks too.
Watch out. If they get to 5-0, the trap game set. Let me complain about Lane, the Lane train real quick.
Please.
Okay. I like this Ole Miss team, but let me say this about Lane. If not now, if he couldn't beat Alabama now, this is the time to beat Alabama. They're fine. Alabama's going to be 9-3. But regardless, Alabama's is not as good as they have been in the last 15 years. This is one of the worst teams.
Yeah.
They're still going to win 9-10 games, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to win a lot of games. But if Lane can't beat them, Lane should just go to the AAC. He should just go coach some shitty team like Southern Miss or
get
Cincinnati.
the SMU job and go to the ACC.
Just go take some job from mid-major football team where you're oh, Cincinnati, they scored 70 again. Lane's got him cooking. He's not. If he can't win now, I just don't know when Lane and Ole Miss are going to get it done in the SEC. Having said that, I'm taking a home dog.
I know it.
I'm taking a home dog.
Oh, I know it.
Brian Kelly's team. I don't know what to make of it. I don't think it's very good. But they got beat pretty bad by FSU in game 1, and then they've kind of been hanging around and sticking it to teams. So my mind's slowly changing, but for it to officially change, then they'll have to beat Ole Miss, in Ole Miss. Was it? Is that Starksville? Is that
not sure. Yeah, I think
I
that's
don't know
Mississippi
where Ole Miss
State.
is.
I'm not sure either.
It's in Oxford, Mississippi.
Oxford. Yeah, Mississippi State's Stark Vegas. That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take Ole Miss plus the 3, and I'm gonna take the under.
You're gonna take the under in this one. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, listen.
If Lane's gonna win, I don't know. I think he's just gonna have to dig it out. It's 63.5, right?
Yeah, it is 63.5. It is. And you hit the money. I mean, you hit the money shot right there. Lane does not beat top 20 teams. We talked about it several times in the last couple of weeks, and then he burned us all last week as we were riding Lane to beat Alabama finally, and Saban just took him out behind the woodshed and X'd and owed him to death. I mean, made him look real bad. Listen, Lane goes into Alabama last week and gives their shitty, terrible, dead, buried in a coffin offense a resurrection. When Alabama took the field, they should have just played the Undertaker bong, because it was a bong. The Alabama's offense was back. It was so bad a job of coaching last week. I can't hate Lane enough for it. LSU, yeah, you're right. They got hammered by FSU in that first game. FSU looks like they're the real deal, though. And they fixed some things. But even last week against Arkansas, I don't know if you guys were watching that game, but right before the half, LSU scores a big touchdown and Arkansas still beating them. Then LSU comes out, gets the ball at the front of the second half, and they score another big touchdown to take the lead, and they end up pulling that game out by 3. So they almost lost at home to Arkansas last week, which was not that great. For me, this is going to come down to a few things you've touched on here before, Andy, and that's Lane's ability to run the ball. He used to like to try to set that up. He has gone away from it. I don't know if it's been taken away or he's just wandered from it, but he's going to need to get back to running the ball if they want to win this weekend. But my God, Lane Kiffin cannot do it, can he? And like always on this show, I'm going to tell you, all that being said and everything we know and everything we shouldn't do, I'm going to do what I just said not to do. And I'm going to take Ole Miss and the points. And I'm going to stay on the under on this one too. I just don't see them scoring a ton of points, man. That's just, I mean, right?
If Lane, look, I'm not taking Lane again. Like, this is it. Like, for me and Lane, like he wins and or covers and some loses by 1 or 2, or it's over.
Yeah. I mean, this is it for me. Him and I are permanently broken up. If he doesn't win this game, that's it. I mean, we are never getting back together. I'm telling you that right now.
What just happened?
Brought to you by the Sports Authority. At the Sports Authority, you can gear up to look just like a pro, from little tacks to full-grown adults. But they can't help you play like one if you're not any good. So don't suck. That's the Sports Authority, a Chapter 11 company. Parkour is a fast-growing sport among young teens, and young Jeff Cole will show you how it's... Oh, look out! Special delivery. TKO Box 123. Tammy Farmer. Classic springboard. Facial. Tries to keep her feet. Bang! That'll knock a few points off of the old SAT. Oh, my. Into the Sandman. That's a headbanger there. Bang! Knocked the shoes right off.
Oh, what just happened?
All right, let's wander over into the NFL. And I know you're chomping at the bit to get to them Dolphins, baby, but we're going to wait for that one real quick.
We'll save it.
Let's jump into a Big South matchup here. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. New Orleans is laying 3.5. The over-under in this game is 19.5, Andy. What do you make of that?
19.5? That can't be the over.
19.5.
No.
That's what it said on my app today.
No, there's no way it's 19.5.
It's 19.5, I think, man.
Buddy, I'm taking the over.
Yeah. No.
I'm putting it all on the over.
Right?
There's no way I'm going to look this up. Absolutely.
You've got to look it up, because I'm telling you, unless I got some bad information first thing this morning.
I'm looking at it 40.5. 19.5 might have been first half.
Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. That probably was it, because I was like, what the fuck? This is an NFL game, man.
Yeah, I was like, I'm taking over on this.
So it's at 40.
You texted me that too, and I was like, oh, that must just be a typo. And then you said it again. I'm like, look, I'm putting all my money on the over. Like, everything. Daughter's life is on the over of 19.5.
Yeah, I was like, it was ugly last week.
There's no under choice. You never play the under that.
No, man.
I think in this game, I kind of think Tampa's sneaky. It's the annual Lattimore versus Mike Evans fight that's going to happen in about the second quarter.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? And here it comes. Like, if you have Mike Evans on your fantasy team, like, maybe don't play him. I don't know. He might, he's going to go play a couple quarters, and then
he's going to get ejected.
Then he's going to get in a fight, and he's going to miss next week. So just it's the Mike Evans gives his paycheck to the NFL week. I think if you're going to take New Orleans, I think it's helpful to know who's the quarterback. And I don't right now at 3.5 at the hook with the hooks out there. I'm not sure how you take New Orleans, to be honest, especially when you don't know who's the quarterback. So if you are going to bet New Orleans, my best advice would be to wait. Just wait it out. Just wait till Sunday to place the bet on New Orleans. But if you're going to take Tampa, I think this is the time to do it. I think you got to do it. You could also convince me. You really could. It's a Jameis revenge game, because it's so sweet that Jameis could be playing against Tampa. And Jameis is going to give him picks. He's also going to throw some touchdowns. Like, Jameis is out of his mind wild card. I love it. I have no idea.
Yes.
On Monday, you could be like, did you see Jameis? And I'd be like, no, what happened? And you could be like, he threw 7 interceptions and they won. Or you could be like, he had 4 touchdowns and he ran in for 2 more and they lost. And I'd be like, yep.
Yeah.
It all makes sense to me. It all makes sense to me. I'm just for that factor, I'm going to play the over because I think Jameis is going to – there's going to be turnovers. Baker and Jameis playing, there's going to be turnovers. And there's going to be field position. And there's going to be some short fields for those guys. So right now, for the contest, I would play Tampa at 3.5. And generally, I'd stay away from this game. But give me Tampa at 3.5 and give me the over.
All right, man. Acquah, what are you making of it, man?
I agree with everything Andy said, except I'm all in for famous Jameis. I think Jameis is starting. So I think, he'll definitely give you a couple of picks, hopefully no more than 2. But I think with that Saints defense, that boy Baker's going to give him 6 picks. So if you don't have the Saints D, pick the Saints D up and definitely bench Mike Evans because he's going to throw hands first quarter.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wrap. I think dead on. I'm taking the Saints and I'm taking the under.
Okay, you're going to stay under the 40 right there. Well, listen, man, you 100%, man. This game is Derek Carr out?
Yep.
And that makes Winston the starter. So my question for this weekend is literally, who's going to make more mistakes? Famous mistake Baker or famous mistake Winston?
It's a push. It's a push.
Who's going to make more mistakes?
It's definitely a push on this one. They're at home. You got the Saints at home with that defense, and Baker Mayfield loves to talk trash, and he's going to lose his number 1 target, Mike Evans.
Yes, Winston, but let me throw a monkey wrench in your equation there. Winston hasn't played in a long, long time, so that usually makes for mistakes on its own. So put some whipped cream on the mistake Sunday there by the fact that he ain't seen any live action in forever.
True. So, what's that boy? Tatum Hill?
Tyson Hill. He's going to see some action. But
he's going to see plenty of action. So it's not going to be all on Jameis. That's the beauty of what's going on with the Saints. He doesn't have to carry the load. So I like that. If he didn't have Hill, then I'd be like, yeah, you're right. This could be ugly.
I'm going to tell you,
it's not all on
I
him.
think Baker has looked a lot more mature this year than he has in years past. You don't see him doing a lot of the crazy shit he used to do. He's in an offensive system. I think I saw the other day he's had 9 different offensive coordinators in like his 7 years or something like that. It's nuts. It's just crazy. He seems to have settled in with this guy and seems a little bit more mature. But I'm going to make a comparison here to you guys with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is like that dude in the teen high school movie that is super popular and everybody fucking hates him. And then one day he walks in the cafeteria and nobody will talk to him and he can't sit at anybody's table, right? Not here. He's got to bounce around tables. And finally a group of misfits let him sit with them. And in the second half of the movie, he realizes it's me. He makes changes. You find yourself rooting for him at the end of the movie. Him and the misfits for the lunch table win the talent show. I mean, that is what he is doing right now. That's exactly what I think, man. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay and the 3.5 and give me the over. That's where I'm going to land on that one. I think Baker's turning the corner a little bit as to managing himself. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's also going to be some turnovers, and that to me scares me off that under just a little bit, right? Like Baker's going to fumble the ball at like the 17 and be like, oh, it's a Saints ball, 1st and goal from the 9. It's like there's an easy 3 to 7 points. Then Jameis is going to give one back, just a pick 6. Jameis
pick 6 will happen.
And then next time at halftime, it's going to be like 21-17. You're going to be like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, you just nailed it. Find me that bet. Find me that bet for a pick 6 in this game. I'll put $10 on it.
Watch him surprise you both. Watch famous Jameis surprise you both. Not turn the ball over. Baker does what Baker does best, coughs it up. That Saints D kicks in, and you see the under kick it.
I just find it odd for a diehard Canes Miami guy to be so on point with the Florida State guy. It's weird.
Also, Kamara comes back.
Kamara comes back.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's
Alvin
true.
Kamara comes back too.
Yeah, that's true. He'll throw one off the back of his helmet before the game's over.
He'll be back.
I totally forgot. Alvin comes back. Another reason why I'm rocking with the Saints.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, let's jump into the next game here. Acquah, I'll throw you this one first. We got the Ravens coming off that ugly ass loss to the Colts, and the Colts tried to give it to him a million times, even stepped out of bounds in the end zone for a safety to give him overtime. I mean, they tried to give him the game. We got Ravens at Browns, who stopped the Titans last week. Browns are laying 2.5. The over-under is 41. What do you think?
It's another ugly one I don't love.
Real quiet over there.
How do you love this game? How do you love this matchup? I mean,
this will be a good game, man. This will be a good game.
Is it?
Yeah, this will be a good football game. Depends on how you like to watch. If you like 65, if you like Pac-12 shootouts, this ain't for you. If you like football, this is going to be a good one. There's going to be some banging going on.
And
but hey,
isn't OBJ still questionable too?
He's questionable. He's questionable for the game.
Who?
OBJ.
Oh, yeah.
Odell's questionable on this one. Oh, man. You know what? I say they cover.
Browns laying the 2.5. Over under on the 41.
Yeah. God, I hate it so much because I don't trust Deshaun Watson at all. I just don't.
Yeah.
I'll say let's go with the over.
All right. You're taking the Browns and the over on that one. Well, listen, I already told you Ravens are coming off an ugly ass loss. Browns are coming off a beatdown of a good football team. The Titans are a good football team. They're not great. They're good. Nobody wants to play them, and they smoked them at home. Andy, you know where I land on this kind of thing, man. I think the Ravens are going to win a bunch of games. Their defense is great. They're a good football team. They got a great coach, but they're a one-man show on offense. And the problem with the one-man show is everything he does runs the clock. Everything he does runs the clock. Complete passes run the clock. Running the ball runs the clock. And if they get out in front, they're great. But if you get behind, it's tough to come back and win when you're playing that style of offense. And I think the Browns get out in front early in this one, and I think the Ravens struggle to mount a comeback, which forces them to try to start doing things they don't like offensively, and it's a bad spot for them. Give me the Browns, laying the 2.5, and I'll take the over 41 in this one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take it, man.
I think if you're going to bet the Ravens, you want to wait till it gets to 3, right? And I think it's at 3 now, to be honest. For our contest, we got it 2.5, which is good. So I'm fine with it. Look, I like that you're like the Titans are a good football team. How about this? They're not. You know, like the Titans are not a good football team. And how about this? Maybe the Indianapolis Colts are pretty good, right? Like maybe they are good. Like maybe the two coaches that left Philly, you know, you're Mikey, I'll place money on the winless Arizona Cardinals and the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe those two coaches are pretty good. Right?
Yeah.
Let me give you a Ravens stat because to me the Ravens and the Steelers are so similar. They're similar in when they're the favorites, I'm not a fan of them, right? Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh, like don't want any part of them as a favorite, but I do like them as a dog. I do like betting on the Ravens and the Steelers as dogs. Since 2018, the Ravens against the spread as a dog are 19-5. That's 19 wins and 5 losses, my man. Boy, do I love the Ravens here.
Yeah.
I love the Ravens. I love the under. The Ravens can play any style of football you want to play. You want to play, bang them, hit you in the mouth, slow it down.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's them.
Let's fucking play it. You want to throw 40 up with Buffalo? The Ravens can do it. So, to me, when I watched that highlight last week of Deshaun turning around and throwing a football behind himself 5 to 10 yards. I'm like, there's no way I want Deshaun Watson. I want my money going against the Ravens on Deshaun Watson. And Ford and Cooper, sure. I mean, they beat Tennessee, Tennessee's main issue is they can't stop the pass. Said it 2 weeks ago against the Chargers. I said, Tennessee can't stop the pass. All of a sudden, Deshaun gets in there. Everybody's like, the Browns, baby. The Browns are back. Amari's back.
No, they're not.
Let him go. Look how many they score because the Titans can't stop anybody in the air. Titans can't stop anybody. No. The Ravens can stop people in the air, on the ground. I like the team coming off a loss. I like the Ravens, and I like the under. And I'm going to bet on the Ravens all year, Mikey, because I know
they're going to win a lot of games.
Seem to think Lamar
is tired silly.
And I love the Browns. The Browns win this game. Look at the Browns' schedule. Browns got a great chance to go 12-5. It's kind of a joke, right? They don't have many. Their toughest games are just their division games. The rest are they play the AFC South, obviously, because they play the Colts, whatever. They play nobody. So the Browns probably going to. If you want to make a divisional bet, I think it's the Browns, but I'm going to take the Ravens and the points.
Yeah, well,
19-5.
Ravens are tough, and you're 100% right. They can win anywhere. I just disagree that when they're behind, I don't think they put up a ton of points. But we'll see. But I will say this to our credit last week, we both did make the comment that the Indianapolis Colts with Gardner Minshew are going to look a lot better and put up some points with Richardson out. And no disrespect to him, he's just a young kid. And you know, you force it a lot when you got a young kid in there. And Minshew, he did. I mean, won the game. Won pretty, but he won the game, I guess.
Ravens pretty banged up last week, too. They had like 7 dudes. So it's like hard to compete in the NFL when you're like 7 starters out. Just
perpetually banged up. Perpetually banged up. They
like
are,
they
man.
teach their running backs like run into a brick wall. I don't get how the running backs they completely die. They should carry like 10 running backs on the Ravens.
Oh, I mean, every time, man. Every time. It's terrible. All right, bringing up the rear. Our big finale here for the Dolphins guy. Miami at Buffalo. And this is not, now this isn't like before when I was like, oh, my bad. That was the first half over under. This is the real spread. Buffalo is laying 2.5 points to the Dolphins. Buffalo at home. The over under is 53.5. Acquah, tell us what's going to happen, man.
I'll tell you right now, it's going to be a shootout. And I hate that. I hate it. It's going to be a shootout. You got a very, very good Miami Dolphins team. You've got a very, very talented Buffalo team at home. The Bills always get up for Miami the same way Miami used to always get up for New England when Brady was there. That's how they look at us. We are their Patriots. They're going to show up. I'm definitely taking the over because it's going to be a shootout. Miami's definitely going to win this game. Ultimately, Josh Allen, he throws 2 picks, and they're going to cost them. And those 2 picks are what's going to make it the over. I don't think they cover them. I think Miami gets it done. I don't think they cover.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. You got Miami to win the game, right? I mean, you're going to take them and the points to win the damn game. Andy, what do you got for us, man?
I think it's, I absolutely am on the over. I think that's, I think about last year, these two teams played in the playoffs, in the wild card, and I think it was 34-31. This game's wildly important, and it's wildly important because the next time they play is the last game of the season in Miami, like January 7th. So it's wildly important, in my opinion, to just have that one up going into that game. And Miami is schedule, and same with Buffalo, but like Miami's, I want to say this about Miami. Like they ain't played anybody, right? They have played the Chargers, who are in every game comes down to like some buffoonery. It doesn't matter. Like it's like even this week, like I don't know why you would take anyone else but the Raiders, like in the points, like just because it's going to be like some wild conclusion of a game, right?
Yeah. They tried to lose the game to the Vikings. He went for it. You're up 10. He goes for it on his own 20-yard line. Like,
and then Miami played the Pats, who can't score. They just have no offense. Great defense. Can't score, though. Okay, and so, like, Miami's just going to eventually grind them down. Then they played, I don't know, the team that's a pretty good offense, but no defense. And that was like a video game, right?
That was
so I just, like, I don't know who Miami's played. I don't really know who Buffalo's played, to be honest with you. Buffalo played a much better schedule. They played the Jets without Rodgers. They played the Commanders, and then and the Raiders. It's not like the Bills have been just banging away good teams either. But your divisional contest over. I think it's going to be so similar to the wild card game. I think it's going to be that kind of game, that kind of score. Probably team last with the ball wins would be my guess. But I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to take the 2.5.
Yeah, and definitely
it's close. I mean, you could also, you could also argue Miami side. I also think like some team could come and get within 3 at the end with a late touchdown and not get the onside. It's going to be one of those type of games.
Yeah,
I think it's over. Great game. Really looking forward to this game. Miami's got a couple games that are just bangers this year. Like October 22nd, they go to Philly. Like, come on,
that's going to be a game.
Good game.
November 5th. They go to Kansas City.
Yep.
Like, and then like the day before Christmas, the Cowboys come to town. And then the week after, their last 3 games to me, Miami are incredible. Cowboys at the Ravens and then the Bills. Like they got a lot of good games, man. And this Dolphins team is super exciting. But it's kind of like Rams, like St. Louis Rams, 99 Rams-esque team. So I'm excited for the Dolphins. It's fun when the Dolphins are good, but I'm gonna take the Bills.
Yeah, the Dolphins are fun to watch, man. I fucking put up 70 points last week, man. Like that was crazy. That was crazy to watch, man.
So that was amazing. That was my get back because she also went to CU and I'm a Hurricane. So not that part, but the Nebraska game when we played and we got embarrassed. She was all, ha, 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 look at my buffs. And I was like, you don't even know who your coach is. So when the Dolphins went in and just put that video game score up, I was like,
oh, so ugly. I don't even know how that happens, man. I mean, but look, the Dolphins are on top of the world right now, right? They are on top of the world. They are feeling themselves and they're feeling good, and they should. Their backups are putting up second half points like crazy. I mean, how mad are the Jets right now watching Mike White? You let him walk out the building and you're stuck with Zach Wilson. Bad move there. But hey, I mean, that's not the game that we're talking about right now. But anyway, the other team that they're playing this week, though, they're not the Arizona Cardinals. This isn't going to be some kind of Buster Douglas upset knocking out the Cowboys or something, man. Buffalo's a good football team, man. They're a good team. And to your point, Andy, the last couple of weeks after that abysmal open, they've had some mediocre teams to play and get right against. That's going to be my point. They got right against the Raiders. They got real right against Washington, who was undefeated at the time. I mean, you know, you got a Buffalo team that I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. They're right where they want to be. They are no longer media darlings. They are no longer the favorites. Everybody's counting them out. They're the underdogs, and they got a chip on their shoulder, and Josh Allen is starting to clean up the way he plays, and that is a recipe. This whole game this weekend is a recipe for Hollywood upset. I'm telling you, I'm taking Buffalo with you, Andy. I'm with you. I'm taking Buffalo because it's 2.5. The hook is huge. I'm taking Buffalo, laying the 2.5 there, and also give me the over in this game for sure, right? I mean, I think that's probably the only thing we all agree on in this one is going to be over 53 points.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's for sure. I mean, it would be surely shocking if it was like final score Miami 24, Buffalo 21. I'd be like, wow,
yeah,
crazy.
Right.
What game was that?
Right. And then the next thing somebody will tell you, Jameis Winston ran a touchdown, threw 2 to the other team, kneeled, but they didn't call it. And then he took off running and no one tackled him. And it's some crazy shit, you know?
You know, Mikey, I would also throw out kind of a good time, in my opinion, to kind of buy into Josh Allen as NFL MVP odds.
Yeah.
You know, 9 or 10, like Tua right now is getting some buzz. There's always those September teams, October teams that are pretty good. And then there's, you know, we'll see. And Miami's going to be good all year. I don't think we're going to look back and be like, Miami's 8-9. I think Miami's going to win like double digits.
If he stays healthy.
You know,
if he stays
healthy.
We got a soft schedule too. I mean, whether Tua is healthy or not, our schedule, like Andy said, it's not the gauntlet. This is probably one of the nicest schedules you could get in the NFL if you're a Miami Dolphins team who needs a good season after everything we've been through.
For sure. I mean, because they have, like, of course, the Pats and the Panthers and the Raiders, the Commanders. Like, they have, like, honestly, like, you know, 4 or 5 kind of easy more wins. So they're going to get like 11, 12 wins. But so is Buffalo. I think it's going to be super close. That last game, January 7th in Miami, is going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible, assuming they're both playing for something. It's going to be like the Monday night game or the Sunday night game, whatever that last game, like, just lock it in.
Yeah.
But I do think kind of it's time for a good Josh Allen, you know, if you want to bet some MVP odds.
I think that's a really like good bet, man. Yeah, as always.
It's kind of good at 9-10 to 1. Like 2 is too high now. You know, Hurts is probably too high. Like Mahomes is like, no thanks. Like, give me like a 9 or 10 or wherever I can get in that.
Yeah, that's as always, man. That's a great nugget coming out of nowhere. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. That's a great bet to lay down right now, man. Well, there we go, guys. That's our picks for this week. I was filling Acquah in. He's off the hook because we finally got the guest picker last week and we beat him. So you're off the hook, but you got to get a winning streak going for the guests now, my man. You got to get that going. So
hopefully,
hey, good luck to you. We'll see how it goes, man. We'll have the tallies up. So I'll shoot it over to you on the Twitter. You can put it out. Everybody can see this. Check out the picks, man. And I'll tell you what, man, we'll see you next time.
Bye,
guys.
See ya.
See you.
So the All Right Bet.